Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Saint of Killers. The Saint of Killers is a fictional character who appears in the comic book series Preacher, published by Vertigo Comics in 1995. The Saint of Killers was created by writer Garth Ennis, with artist Steve Dillon. The Saint is described as a grim, taciturn, implacable killing machine, with supernatural abilities involving divinity, immortality, and influence over heaven and hell. His goals typically center on bringing down individuals through destruction and death by the laws of paradise. The Saint of Killers first appeared as a heartless murderer, who is transformed into the Angel of Death under the condition that he takes up the role of collecting the souls of those who die by violence. Following his reanimation, heaven arranged for him to be put into a deep slumber, until he was needed to kill people. The Saint was the primary antagonist in the Preacher series, who was tasked by heaven to kill protagonist Jesse Custer due to his possession of the entity Genesis. Aside from Ennis and Dillon's Preacher, the Saint was featured in his own 4-issue limited series, Preacher, Saint of Killers, which expanded on the Saint's background and motivation, and has appeared briefly in the DC Comics series Hitman, centered on a wisecracking assassin plying his trade in Gotham City, and is portrayed by Graham McTavish in the television series adaptation of Preacher. Ennis initially cited Lee Marvin and Clint Eastwood, both actors, as his inspiration for the Saint, with artists Dillon and Glenn Fabry making him look far more physically imposing. The Saint's character and the nature of his evil have been the subject of considerable critical attention. Empire ranked the Saint of Killers number 43 in their 50 greatest comic characters of all time. Topless Robot placed him number 3 in their top 10 least heroic anti-heroes. What Culture placed the Saint 7 on the list of the 100 greatest comic book villains of all time, and the character ranked 4 on IGN's Top 100 Comic Book Villains compilation. Publication history. In his foreword to Preacher, Ancient History, Ennis reveals that Clint Eastwood provided the inspiration for the character of the Saint of Killers, with the face of Lee Marvin influencing Steve Dillon's visual depiction of him. Ennis wished to place a certain degree of emphasis on the outlaw nature of the Saint, simultaneously establishing that the Saint, like the lead character of Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven, remains unforgiven. Regarding the Saint's origin story, Ennis declared, "His story is a myth. All Westerns are." Origins. Little is known of the Saint of Killers' past, but he fought for the Confederacy in the American Civil War, and was one of the most violent, bloodthirsty soldiers on the battlefield. His reputation grew throughout the conflict, and after the war he was held in high regard and feared not only by the people he fought against and alongside, but by people who'd only heard of his legend. When the war ended, he returned to Texas, earning money from bounties on Indian scalps. During a raid on a group of Apaches, he met a captive young girl. The girl was injured, but whole, and thanked him for saving her from the horrible and savage acts they would commit. Although he maintained that his intention was not to save her, and that she just happened to be there. Nevertheless, he offered her transportation back to her home in Laredo, Texas. But she refused, asking to go on with him. She saw a good man within him, and felt it her mission to bring the goodness out. They were together for a decade, having a daughter, and living off the land together in the wild, happy and settled. For the first time in his life, he felt satisfaction and knew that there was more to his life than killing and the sport of death. At some point, his wife and daughter caught a fever and became bedridden. with the only medicine being a week away by horse. He pledged to get the medicine and get back in time. However, his journey was delayed by a gang of outlaws, led by the despicable Gumbo McCready, in the gritty town of Ratwater, Texas. As a result, by the time he returned home he found his wife and daughter dead. Grief-stricken, he returned to the town of Ratwater and went on a killing spree, hunting down each of the gang members until all but McCready were dead. McCready took a girl hostage, but the gunslinger shot her through the head, damning himself. Just as he was about to shoot McCready, his gun jammed. McCready then knocked him out and impaled him in the chest with a shovel. The soldier died, and his soul went to hell. The making of the saint. Due to his many murders, the soldier was sent to hell. When a soul enters hell, the horror of the environment's sheer hostility evaporates away the humanity from it, along with all the love, fear and hatred. However, the soldier's hatred could not be contained, and the freezing cold soul of the gunman caused hell to literally freeze over. Disturbed and intrigued, the devil personally came out of his palace to learn what had happened. The devil tried beating the hatred out of the soldier, to no avail. The soldier's hatred remained cold, untouchable and resilient. But eventually the soldier revealed the source of his intractable hate. The only good thing in his bad life was taken from him, and he died without killing McCready, leaving his thirst for vengeance unsated. The angel of death, in the area for a poker game, and weary of his position, suggested a solution to both of their problems. The gunman would take his place, bringing death at God's will. He would wield 2 pistols, cast from the angel's sword, and he could have his revenge and much more. The man agreed. The devil tended to the gunman's wounds. The magical walker colts were cast, and the man left hell, but not before gunning down the devil after the latter insulted him. He returned to Earth and slaughtered everyone in the town of Ratwater, including McCready and the corrupt preacher who traveled with him. His killing was indiscriminate. No man, woman, nor child in the town was spared. Due to his dangerously uncontrollable nature, heaven arranged for him to be put into a deep slumber, until God had need of him as his instrument of death and destruction. 4 years after the events at Ratwater, he was summoned at a place called Wounded Knee Creek. Thank you for watching. Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Please like and subscribe below. Please like and subscribe below.